Since my own individual divine experience of ascension, or what I like to refer to as the big idea, I'm faced with many people wanting to show you what they've come up with or what they've seen. And that's totally understandable. But there's a hypocritical nature to the most common, uncommon people because they want to have the right answer, whether or not it is. In that same way, good can be bad, bad can be good. Sometimes you need to be secluded. Other times you need involvement with others. That's not really a hypocritical thing, but it seems like a hypocritical idea. When you have answers for people, but it requires them to put in the effort to do those things, you can't force them to. And if you go ahead and actually force them to, then they're not going to look at you the same. They're going to look at you as some kind of tyrant. Understandable, because nobody wants to be forced to do something that they aren't ready for. I get this. I get all that. I've been through this so many times. I'm not going to try to boost myself by saying anything too, frightening or frustrating towards other people, because I do understand why they are where they are. It's just that they can't comprehend somebody having an experience of otherworldly things. They can see it as depicted on TV or as talked about in the media, but it's so much more than that. If I could get others to listen and actually take it in and see where it may be wrong, then things will actually start escalating in a positive way. Until then, I do have the answers. It is to go back to nature, but it doesn't mean building wigwams and teepees and becoming like loincloth wearing cavemen. It means to use what we've got now and remove the things that aren't helping anybody. Remove the things that are just fascinations or just, conveniences that we don't need. We've got to start looking at what we need and what we can do without and start weeding out all those things. If you want a garden to grow, you got to pluck out the weeds that are sucking up the nutrients. In that same way, there are people who need to be not necessarily plucked out, but removed from their status, removed from where they are, that enforces things upon others when they are in the wrong. Now, I'm wearing this ASPCA shirt, not because I'm trying to promote anything, but it's one of these things where we have to understand that all the beings that are alive on this planet, including the plants, animals, and the people, animal just means something that is animate or animate in the 3D world. It's something that moves on its own. Now, if something moves on its own, we can see that it's alive and it has some kind of preference. If it's running at you while you're threatening its life, then maybe, just maybe, it doesn't consciously think. But we know different than that. Any animal that is harmed runs away from it, unless they're the kind of animal that's predatory and they'll fight. We don't need to be this predatory animal. We need to see that this whole territory is one in which we should share and learn how to share it in a beneficial way for all others. Not just look at, oh, these bugs irritate me, I don't like them around. Oh, these plants are growing and it's making my yard look not so pretty. These people have ideas that I don't agree with and they've got to be stopped. Now, that all comes to certain levels. If people are wronging each other on purpose, those are the levels in which we need to stop them. And we all know who's mostly doing that at this point in time. There are a lot of people who misinform others. There are a lot of people who have such a good smiley face and well-dressed look that will completely mislead you and feed you nothing but misconceptions. That's one thing that I will not do. It may not be fun and super interesting to do the right thing, but once more people do it, we will be introduced to a whole new way of life in which we can actually cooperate and enjoy. And until then, I'm just beating my head against a wall, trying to talk to people and make sense to them when they don't want to make sense of reality. They want to just enjoy themselves and live their best life. And you really can't live the dream unless you're walking around asleep. Now, this is a wake-up call to everyone and anyone who's ready for it. I'm here, my heart's open, and I have nothing but the best intentions, not just for human beings, but for every living thing, and for most of all, this planet. It can be saved, it can be repaired, but it takes more people to be focusing on the right thing. And if you don't know what that is, just ask. I'm not going to put it out on the airwaves because, as we all know, we have AI doctoring and interfering with just about everything. This needs personal interaction. It really does. And most people are just afraid to be around others or irritated by it, not necessarily afraid. So until we find it in our hearts and we find the courage to actually be around each other again, we're just going to be going in circles like we always have been. I am a doctor of reparation instead of others who are forcing separation. God bless. I love you guys. Peace.